All right, so get ready, because today we're diving into something that's, well, it's way more interesting than it might sound at first. Multi-location employee scheduling.
Yeah, multi-location
It's
schedule.
like, think about it. It's not just like one office, one schedule fits all anymore. You've got different offices, different cities, maybe even time zones to handle.
Totally. And it's not just big companies anymore either. Like
Exact.
even that little coffee shop downtown that's packed at lunch. Totally different story from the one in the suburbs that's hopping after work.
Different locations, different peak times. It's a whole other ballgame.
Absolutely.
So today, we're giving you the lowdown, the inside scoop on navigating this whole world, the challenges, the good stuff, and the tech that's changing the game for these multi-location businesses.
Right, because tech is huge here.
Huge. And lucky for us, we've got this awesome guide from TimeTrex, a workforce management software company. Articles, charts, even those insider pro tips you wish you knew.
Oh, those pro tips, they're gold, seriously. Because what's the point of knowing this stuff if you can't use it right?
Exactly. Love that. So let's get right into it. TimeTrex, they don't mess around. They lay out the challenges right away.
Mhm.
First up, demand fluctuation. How do you even start to manage that?
Right, and that's where things can go wrong so fast if you're not careful. You don't account for those busy times, those different rhythms at each location. You end up with one place swamped, the other one short-staffed, unhappy customers, money wasted. It's a mess.
Yeah, not a good look. Then on top of that, there's the whole legal maze, right? What they call the labor law labyrinth, different labor laws, overtime rules, break requirements. It's enough to make your head spin.
Seriously, total compliance nightmare if you're not prepared. We're talking big fines, lawsuits, the works. Whether you've been doing this for years or just thinking about opening a second location, you gotta know this stuff.
Okay, so we've got demand peaks, legal hurdles, but wait, there's more. Let's throw in time zones just for fun.
Yeah, the time zone tango. Trying to coordinate schedules across different time zones sounds simple enough, right? But trust me, it can turn into missed meetings, confused employees, projects going off the rails. You need clear communication, everyone on the same page with the time, and this is where the tech really comes in those time zone-aware scheduling tools.
Because who wants to be doing time zone math at, like, 8 p.m. on a Friday? Not me.
No way!
It's like, how do you even keep up, right?
Right.
But, okay, enough of the challenges, the doom and gloom.
Right.
TimeTrex does a good job of, like, highlighting the good stuff, too, the benefits of, actually figuring out this whole multi-location scheduling thing.
For sure.
So first up, they talk about operational flexibility, which, okay, that sounds kind of jargony, but
It's actually huge, though. Like, once you've got your scheduling down across all your locations, you can actually roll with the punches,
where?
Like something unexpected happens.
Which it always does.
Oh, always. Sudden rush at one store, employee calls out sick at another. You can move people around, cover those gaps, keep things running smoothly. It's a big deal.
Totally. It's like, in today's world, things change so fast, you got to be able to adapt.
Exactly.
And speaking of keeping things running smoothly, there's the employee morale booster, which, I mean, happy employees, happy life, right?
Right. And this is where I think a lot of businesses, they kind of miss the mark. But when you have a system that's fair, it's transparent, it respects people's time, even those time zones we were talking about, employees are happier.
Makes sense.
And happier employees. They're more productive, they stick around longer. It's a win-win.
100%. Okay, last benefit before we move on, and I love this one. Productivity power-up. It's like, give your business that extra boost.
Literally.
Yeah.
It all comes down to having the right people with the right skills in the right place at the right time. You optimize your scheduling, you get rid of those bottlenecks, you're not wasting time, everyone's more productive. Better customer experience, you're making more money.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Music to my ears. Okay, so we've talked about the why, the what. Now, how do we actually do this? How do we wrangle this whole multi-location beast?
Technology, my friend. That's the key.
Okay, lay it on me.
So the guide talks about these centralized scheduling platforms. They're everywhere now, and for good reason. It's like, imagine one system to manage all your schedules, track everyone's time, even deal with all the legal stuff, all in one place for all your locations.
Goodbye, spreadsheets, right?
Exactly. And speaking of making life easier, there's automation.
Ooh, yeah, tell me more about that. Automation is my love language.
Right. So imagine software that does the hard work for you. It makes the schedules automatically, flags any potential problems before they even happen, even looks at your past data and says, hey, you might need more people here at this time.
So it's like having a scheduling assistant working 24/7.
Basically. Frees up managers to actually, manage.
Yeah, focus on the bigger picture.
Exactly. Strategy, customers, all that good stuff.
Okay, now, before we get too deep into the tech weeds here,
Yeah, yeah.
I did want to touch on mobile apps. Because, I mean, it's 2024, everyone's glued to their phones, right?
Oh, for sure. And having a mobile app that lets employees see their schedules, trade shifts, get those last-minute updates,
Mm.
it's a game changer. Gives employees more control, less stress for managers. Win-win.
Love it. Okay, so let's say we've got the tech. We're ready to go all in on this whole multi-location scheduling thing. Any tips from the TimeTrex guide on how to actually, implement it all?
Yeah, they're big on planning. It's not just about buying the shiniest software, right? You need a strategy. What are you trying to achieve? What are your specific needs? And this is key. Get everyone on board.
Because you can have the best tech in the world, but if nobody's using it.
Exactly. If managers are fighting it, employees don't know what's going on, it's not going to work.
It's all about the setup, right? Get that foundation right.
100%. You can't just throw software at people
Yeah.
and expect them to figure it out on their own.
Right, right.
Managers, employees, everyone's got to know how to use these tools. Otherwise, it just makes things worse.
Totally. So training, training, training.
Big time. Investing in good training up front will save you so much hassle later on.
Speaking of upfront, I thought the TimeTrex guide had a really good point about starting with a pilot program.
Oh, yeah. That's huge for a smooth rollout. Instead of switching everything over at once, why not pick one location, maybe a smaller one, less complicated? Use that as your testing ground.
Kind of like dipping your toes in the water before you jump in the deep end.
Exactly. Work out any kinks, get feedback from everyone, managers, employees. Then, once you've got it down, you roll it out to the whole company.
Smart. Okay, so before we wrap this whole thing up, we got to go back to those pro tips you mentioned earlier, because the TimeTrex guide is like a goldmine of practical advice. Got any more gems you can share with us before we let everyone go?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Remember when we were talking about accurate time tracking across all those different locations?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
One of the things they suggest is geofencing.
Geofencing.
Yeah, basically you set up these virtual boundaries around your workplaces, and employees can only clock in or out when they're actually inside those boundaries.
Oh, that's smart. So it's like an extra layer of making sure people are where they're supposed to be.
Exactly. And it's not just about preventing people from goofing off, although that is a concern for some businesses. But it's about accurate data for payroll, for compliance, for making good decisions about your workforce.
That makes sense. Okay, what else you got? Hit me with another pro tip.
All right, how about this? Optimizing those break schedules.
Breaks.
Yeah, staggering breaks, especially during those super busy times we talked about. That way you always have enough coverage, customers are happy, everything keeps moving.
Staggered breaks.
Yeah.
It's such a simple thing, but I bet it makes a huge difference.
Oh, absolutely. Small tweaks, big impact.
Love it. All right, give me one more just for the road.
Okay, here's a game changer. And it goes back to that whole automation thing we were talking about. Automate your compliance monitoring. Set up your software so it automatically flags any potential issues. Like someone's getting close to overtime or they haven't had the required break.
It's like having a little compliance officer built right in.
Exactly. Saves you so much headache down the line.
Okay, wow. We covered a lot today. I feel like we just scratched the surface of this whole multi-location scheduling thing, but it's fascinating.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot to it, but hopefully this gives everyone a good starting point, even if you're not running a huge company.
Definitely. It makes you think about all those businesses we interact with every day, right?
Right. Like grabbing your coffee, running errands. You don't even think about what goes into making all that happen behind the scenes.
So true. Well, on that note, we'll let everyone get back to their day. But hey, even if you're not juggling schedules across time zones, the stuff we talked about today, planning, communication, using technology.
It's all connected.
Totally. It's all about working smarter, not harder, right?
100%.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those good questions.